It's time for the On Air Book Club. My name is Titilayo Oyinson. And for those who've never met me, just know that I'm a fan of books, a huge fan of books. And I always love the opportunity to flip through a new book. And oftentimes I wonder if we are not losing out when it comes to the reading culture in Nigeria. There was a time you couldn't go a whole month without at least reading one book while we were younger. And a lot of things have changed since then. So it's a mandate to find as many amazing Nigerian, African, international authors as possible and have conversations with them about the amazing messages within these books. And we have an amazing author joining us again today. But before we begin, I have something I would love to share with you. Now, there is something called AI, artificial intelligence, that is so important to the future of everything, the future of technology, future of work. And AI is doing loads to help our advertising, our marketing, and our tech journeys. Now, there's this amazing company called adcreative.ai. The ad you're seeing on your screen right now has been generated by adcreative.ai. Now, there's a QR code there. If you scan this QR code, you will be able to use this AI to generate your own adverts. All you have to do is basically put in the details of what you would hope to create, put in the colors of your company, put in the message, and click send, and it'll generate ads for you. Now, this is something that actually takes so much money from us, and there is AI ready and waiting to just make this journey a little bit easier. So why not scan the QR code on your screen right now and try it out? Adcreative.ai. It's definitely a lot more affordable than finding a graphic artist. It's also a lot easier than you think. You'll be taking your marketing into your own hands. All right, then, now back to the show. It is the On Air Book Club. My name, once again, is Titilayo Oyinson. And our book for the day is called Finding Love and Purpose. Yeah, so finding love and purpose might sound cliche. It might sound like, oh, eye roll, love again, really? But this is a really interesting piece. Now, I'm reading a little review on the website here. It says, love is such a beautiful thing when you get it right. Just as certain principles sustain the financial world, love thrives on principles. And to get to the bottom of those principles today, we have to speak with the author, and he is on standby. Andrew Peter Milestone is the author for today. He's a writer, he's also a filmmaker, and an inspirational speaker. He's written quite a few movies and web content for multinationals. He's also the convener of Mind-Shifters, a dynamic movement focused on helping people find their purpose and live a great life. From schools to churches and organizations, the Mind-Shifters team, that's MST, goes about from city to city, impacting lives. Andrew Peter Milestone has written a couple of books. They're available on Amazon and other websites, and his latest one, Finding Love and Purpose, is our focus for today. Hello and welcome.
Hi, everyone out there.
Good evening.
It's so nice to be here. It's so nice to be here. Good evening. And like I said, yeah, I'm Andrew Peter Milestone, and I've already been introduced. I don't know what else to say, but I will just say that it's a pleasure being here. And I want to thank you for the privilege, the platform to be here to reach out to people that need to read this book, because this book it was birthed out of a burden because of the way we see coming out, divorces, heartbreaks, people are not living a fulfilling life, suicide here and there. So this book was birthed out of a burden to help people find love and to help them find purpose. And these two powerful entities, purpose and love, is such that when you get both right, your whole life will go right. So that's why we are here.
Okay, so now there are a lot of people who have been unlucky in love.
And okay, go ahead.
When I say unlucky, I mean they've made maybe poor choices, and maybe some decisions they regret with regards love. But I want to touch on the purpose part of the title of your book. It is Finding Love and Purpose. You added "and purpose" in there. And I know that wasn't by mistake, right? And the cover of your
Exactly.
book has, of course, a man on his knee presenting something to a lady, and then there's a light in the background. Now, when people put together covers like this, I know it's intentional. You need to talk to us about the title and the cover of the book.
Yeah, all right. The title of the book, Finding Love and Purpose, is very direct. It's it's very clear that to find something, you need to go through a process. You need to use a searchlight, which is the essence of the light from the background on the book cover. And when there is light, you are easy to get what you are looking for. When you walk into a room and there is no light in the room, it's very difficult to assess what you are looking for because there is no light. So the absence of light is the presence of confusion. So when there is light, you would easily find love and purpose. So finding love and purpose is an invitation to every reader of the book that come with your heart ready, go through the pages, and light will dawn on your heart for you to be able to find love and purpose. Purpose is a very, very important thing that we should look out for because without purpose, there will be abuse. So when there is purpose properly understood, you will certainly see that progress will be made in the search for love and in the search for a very wholesome life. So that's what the whole book title is about, finding love and purpose. It's about the steps, it's about the knowledge, the light that comes through this book, through knowledge, so that you can actually find love in a world where nobody cares about love. Everybody's just trying to use everybody. But if you follow the principles of this book, follow the step-by-step approach to this book, you will see that you will find love and you will find your purpose, the purpose of which you were created for. Everyone was created for a reason. You were created for something that will make your life very relevant to the world. So if you can find love and find purpose, you will see that these two things go hand in hand. A person that finds purpose will certainly attract love in the context of a relationship and marriage. So that is why it's titled Finding Love and Purpose.
So now, putting both love and purpose in the title, which one comes first? Um, there are quite a few who found love initially, and finding love helped them find purpose. And then there are some who found purpose and then eventually found love because they found purpose. But which one, which order do you believe is most effective?
I believe that purpose is the very first thing. Purpose is very important that you find purpose early. When you find your purpose before finding love, when purpose becomes the magnetic force that brings love to you, there is a whole lot of good it does. Now, let me explain a little better. Now, your purpose is the original intent for which God created you. Now, when you leave the script that has been written about your life, when you leave that script and you try to do something else, you are actually trying to go somewhere by taking the wrong route. When the route of which you are taking to your future is wrong, you will meet things that are wrong. That means you will meet the wrong guys, you will meet the wrong lady, you will marry wrong, and it will be one struggle to the other. But if you find purpose and your purpose attracts the woman that destiny has provided for you, it becomes so easy for the woman to help you because according to scriptures, according to the good book, Adam first found work before God provided him a wife. So you need to find your purpose. Your purpose is your life's work. It is beyond your job. Your job helps you pay the bills, but your purpose is what reveals you, is what unveils the capacity you carry. So when a person finds purpose, that purpose will also attract help. It will attract love. It will attract a helpmeet because the Bible makes me understand that a woman is given the capacity to help a vision. So when you find purpose first, finding love becomes easy. So that is what I think. Purpose comes first. When you know your purpose, you will be attracted to the right people because your purpose will introduce you to the right circle. Your purpose will introduce you to the right person. And the person, because you know your purpose, the person can just easily fit in to that purpose of yours. I'm talking from the side of a man. Now, from the side of a woman has her own dreams. This is not a cliche where we kick feminism out. No, the world has evolved. Some women have bigger destinies than their husband. But if the woman have not discovered her purpose, she would not know how to say no to a man that comes their way, especially when they're in their mid-20s and approaching 30s. You know, ladies get agitated when they are up to 30 years of age and they've not found a man to marry them. They become agitated. But the reality is, if a lady knows her purpose, if a lady knows her purpose, she will be able to know a man that will not work. She will easily identify the kind of relationship that will not work, so that the man that will come into her life will come in and also give her the platform to shine. Because when it comes to marriage, both parties have dreams. These are two full entities coming together to live as one. So when purpose is in place before the marriage, everybody knows, okay, this is what this man wants to achieve in his life. This is what this lady wants to achieve in her life. So let's make our dreams happen together. That is when love becomes an adventure. And I love it that way.
So how do people find this purpose? Feels like some huge deal, like this huge thing that is almost untouchable, unreachable for so many. I dare say, if not that I have parents that were willing to maybe listen and allow me be me, I probably wouldn't have been able to find purpose myself. I don't know if you understand where I'm going. I'm thinking about the fact that I need to figure out what my purpose is before I can complete another person, or I can become a complete person, find my true self before I can complete a relationship.
All
How
right.
do I find my purpose?
How do you find your purpose? That's a very, very big question. It's a very, very important question. And I want to say congratulations to everybody that will have the book because it will be detailed. When you read the chapters, you will know how to find your purpose. But let's still go ahead and talk some about purpose. Purpose has three major steps. To discover your purpose, there are three major steps before the last step. Now, the first step is to locate your potentials. There are some things you know how to do that you do them naturally. For instance, our very able host, Mrs.
Mhm.
Titi Layo, I'm so sure that when you were younger, probably in your early 20s or in your teens, there is this thing you have about speaking. There's this thing you have about, expressing yourself with words and creativity. So that was your potential. Now, it's so important that we discover our talents and we discover our potentials. And the reality is that some persons they trivialize their talents because their talents seem not to be able to make so much money at a time. But your purpose discovery starts with your talent discovery. You need to discover your talent, your gift, your potentials, those things that makes you you. You have the ability to run, you have the ability to act, you can solve mathematical questions, you can do all kinds of calculations. These things are your potentials, but they are not your purpose because your potentials can be abused. For instance, if you have the potentials of running, now don't be so quick to think you're an athlete. It could also mean that you are an actor. So knowing your potential is not enough to say this is your purpose. I can do so many things, but not everything. I will not be distracted by the fact that I can cook. I don't have a restaurant out there, but I can cook for my wife and my family. So those things are potentials. But when you start connecting your potentials, when you start connecting your potentials to your passion, what are those things that you can do, and you can do them so well, and you can do them regardless of anything. If money was not an issue in the world, what will you spend the rest of your life doing? Those things are your passion. For instance, I have written 280 pages of work in less than a week. That's because writing is my passion, speaking is my passion. So when you know your potentials, you know that particular thing you can do, and you don't care about time. You can write. Me, I can write all day without thinking about food because I love to write. I love to express my creative genius through stories, through web content. I love to write. So that's we have now. We have the first block, which is your potential. You have the second block, which is your passion. The third is your burden. Your burden. What are those things that you want to solve in the world? What are those problems you feel connected to? Because your purpose is actually a response to a problem. God created you, sent you here into the world so that you can solve some specific problems. So if you are able to discover your burden in your heart, for instance, some persons are more restless about the politics of a country, while some other persons don't even care. They don't care because their mind is not connected to that problem. They would rather think of how to help the poor. They would rather think on how to exhibit their artworks. They would rather think on how to bridge the communication gap between families. So these things becomes their burden. So when a person knows his potential, that's his talent, you also know your passion, something you love to do excitedly, because passion is what will help you to stay in the process of from being a rookie to become a professional. I didn't start talking the way I'm talking. When I started, I was all making mistakes and errors, but because of passion, I could grow. So when you know your potential, you know your passion, and then you discover the burden, that problem you love to solve. For me, I want to solve the problem of having youth living a purposeless life, having youth going confused because they don't know what to do with their youth. So that's my burden. I want to help people know what makes them special and help them cash in on that greatness. That is my own purpose. So these three steps will
Yeah.
bring you close. And the last step is just for you to be very sure, ask
Mm,
your creator. Because
mm.
the creator is the one that knows the exact thing that a product can do. If you want to know the essence of an electronics that you bought, you go to the manual. So if you want to know perfectly, precisely, with all sense of clarity, what your purpose is, you take these three steps, and then the last step is go to God in prayer, and then sort it out in the quiet room. You will know your purpose, and your purpose will introduce you to finding the best person to spend the rest of your life with.
I have to say thank you to you, Andrew Peter Milestone, for breaking it down. This issue of finding purpose is a topic that not a lot of people want to even delve into because of how delicate it is.
Yeah,
And finding true self, it's a deep one. But you have listed your chapters instead of just chapter one, you've called them principles. Now, we've
yeah.
had a brief conversation on this already before. Why did you discuss them as principles and not just title them chapters?
All right. We know that principles are not theories. There is something powerful about a principle. A principle is a law. A principle is infallible in the sense that, for instance, the law of gravity is so much in force on the earth that if you jump from a building that is 3 stories building high, 10 stories building high, if you jump from a building in Lagos, you are going to fall to the ground and probably just die because of the height and the gravity involved. When you go to Tokyo in Japan and try the same thing, it will be the same result. So principles are powerful because they will replicate the same result if you apply it the way it is supposed to be applied. So I decided to work with principles in this book rather than just writing free-handedly using only my experience. So when I talk about principles, I talk about the Word of God, using the Bible, the scripture, as some basic principles that will stand the test of time, so that you can have an evergreen information that will change your life. So the first principle, for instance, is finding yourself.
Hmm.
Hallelujah.
Finding
You
yourself.
get it.
And you tagged something
Finding,
else. You said, "Who the heck are you?"
yeah. So you need to
Who
know
the heck are
yourself. Because
you?
yeah, even the Bible even said, love your neighbor as much as you love yourself. So if you don't know yourself, how can you love yourself? And if you don't love yourself, how then can you love someone or even attract someone to love you? So self-love is the basic, the number one principle to know yourself, to love yourself, and then know about your weakness. Some people dismiss their weaknesses, they hide it. You don't need to hide it. Your weakness is part of your humanity. In fact, our weaknesses is what breeds community. For instance, there are some things I can't do, no matter how multi-talented I am. That is why I will seek the service of someone that can do it better. And because the person can do it better than I can do it, I would appreciate that person and part with some money. So knowing yourself, finding yourself, your true self, finding your purpose, these things are very important, because when you come to the point of finding love, honestly, I must tell you, love is not a feeling. Love generates feelings, but love in itself is not a feeling. Love will help you to find the right person, but love in itself is not a feeling. Love is a decision, and people make informed decisions. That is what our young ladies don't know, our young guys don't know, because one thing you see is that a guy may be going out with a lady, having a relationship with a lady for some time, and out of the blue, the guy will just come out of the relationship of 7 years relationship and decides to marry somebody he just knew for 3 months. Why is it so? Because the guy knows the criteria he's looking for a wife. And while the other person is truly just building herself and feeling all lovey-dovey, not knowing that a man does not marry because of love. When I mean because of love, I mean because of the feeling, the excitement, the butterflies in your tummy. A guy may go out with you because of the way he's feeling instantly. But when that man wants to marry, he sits down and thinks. He will think, what are the values that this lady will bring to my life? And a lady will think, if I marry this man, what is going to be the direction of my life? These are the questions people ask before they tie the knot. If not, it will just continue to produce more divorce, more heartbreaks, and all that.
Hmm. I was going to take a few seconds to read from the book, actually. I hope you permit me to do that. I
Please
want
do
to
so.
read a bit from chapter, or rather, Principle 4. I'm going to call it now Principle 4. And it says here, take a closer look at the ecosystem and you'll see how interwoven everything is. It's a masterful work of an intentional creator. And the first thing to know about God is his orderliness. Everything is created for a purpose. The trees and the birds have unique purposes, and so do you. Finding your purpose is the first and most important step to finding your relevance. When the purpose of a thing is not known, abuse is inevitable. Dr. Miles Monroe. It is so hard to see your value when you have not known your purpose. Self discovery isn't complete until you discover the purpose for which you were created. Just as you have a unique fingerprint, different from everyone else in the entire universe, you have a specific purpose for your existence on Earth. You are a solution to a specific problem. Very great way to start a chapter, I have to say. Thank you
Thank
so
you very
much for that
much.
piece. You wrote that, and I'm taking note of the quote here. Dr. Miles Monroe, God rest him,
Yeah.
that quote: "When the purpose of a thing is not known, abuse is inevitable." Let's talk about that, because you mentioned just now that yes, there are some guys that would date, women for years, and then just do a U-turn, do a 360, and or let's say 180, and then marry someone else at the drop of a hat. Doesn't that sort of connect with this particular line? Abuse is inevitable. Talk to us about that.
Yeah. All right. That was Miles Monroe, and that quote, it captures a lot of knowledge in that simple quote. Um, People abuse stuff that they don't understand its purpose. For instance, if I get a cup, and because a cup can hold water, I now place the cup inside the rain and expect the cup to contain all the water I want, that cup will not do me justice. But if I put a tank out there, I will get more water because the purpose of that tank is to store water, while the purpose of a cup is to take the cup yourself. So there is a purpose for every human being. There is a purpose for every young lady out there. There is a purpose for every young man out there. And even those that are married, there is a purpose for the marriage. There is a purpose for each and every one of us. Now, if you don't discover your purpose, if because you are a pen and a pen is straight, and then you try to use the pen to use it as a ruler, you will make mistakes because that looks like what can draw a line, but that is not for the essence. The essence of a biro is to use the ink and to write. So being precise with your purpose, it will help you a lot to attract the persons that will value you. I've seen some ladies, their strongest point is not their body shape. I've seen some ladies, they are not so beautiful. In fact, when they pass, you look away because they are not that beautiful, in quotes. But if that lady that is not looking so beautiful work on her purpose will naturally give her a strength that will attract people. And that strength may be her intellectual prowess. So now, if the lady does not know that my own gifting is my mind, she will now try to attract a man with her body by wearing all kinds of stuff that she thinks will make her sexy. But that's not what is needed. What is needed for her is to work on her mind the more, get more intelligent by reading stuffs, and then a man will stroll into her life, and that man will be so drawn by her level of intelligence. I've seen men that married women that are not so beautiful because of their intelligence or because of their character, because of their belief system. So knowing your purpose helps you to understand the reason for your potentials. So there will be less struggle. I've seen men that they married to a very beautiful, educated woman, but yet, if you look closely, they are not rich. They don't have money. But yet the lady was able to say yes to them because the lady saw some other things that makes up for them. So knowing your purpose is very important for you to come to the marketplace called love and romance. If you don't have your purpose known to you, you will feel like a person is doing you a favor by loving you. If you don't have that self-love, that love for self that has come out of discovering your purpose, you will not see yourself valuable. And if you yourself cannot find yourself valuable, why should somebody stroll into your life and marry you? That becomes a problem. That becomes a problem.
We're going to jump because of time. We are actually a little further spent on time than I realized. Because of time, I really want to go deep into these chapters. Principles, not chapters. Principle number 6, defining what love actually is. Love means different things to different people.
Yeah,
But
very
let's
true.
talk about how your principle 6 discusses it.
All right. Love is something that has been so misunderstood all over the world and from ages long from now. Love is something that we think that we consider love to be this. Well, actually, love is not that. The first instance where we see what God did out of love, the Bible says that God so loved the world and then he did something. Love is a decision. Love is a predetermination that I'm going to do this. I'm going to love this person. That kind of love is a force that cannot be stopped. So that when you see the weaknesses of people, your love steps higher than their weaknesses. So love is not a feeling. Love is a decision. Love is not when you are sexually attracted to someone. Love may start as an attraction, but love in itself is not just an attraction. You can easily fall in love with someone that you're attracted to, but if you think that just that attraction is love, you will discover that that feeling is not enough to build something called marriage on, because we've seen people that are crazily in love, as in they're excited about each other, and after 2 years, some after 2 months, you'll be asking what happened to the love they share. What happened? Because they don't understand that love is a decision. God decided to love humanity to the point of giving away his only begotten son. Now that is love. If we are going to love, we need to love like God loves. When you love your wife, or you love a lady and you want to make her your wife, or you find a lady finds a man that he wants, okay, the man has proposed, you want to marry him, you take it as a decision. That is why they ask that question in the court, or they ask that question in any place of solemnization. They ask you, do you take this man for better, for worse? So love is a decision you make. I want to love, I will love this person no matter what. And you start loving like God. You start helping your spouse to become better. You start being patient, because these things are stated in the Bible. Love is kind, love is patient, love does not seek its own, love is not selfish, love is selfless, love wants to help the other. The Bible also said that two is better than one, for there is a reward for their effort. So love is something, two coming together to become one. That is the shortest thing I can say that love is. Two coming together with their differences, with all kinds of strengths and weaknesses, they come together to become one. And the process of making them one, living together, will bring about evolution for each party. And that becomes exciting as you grow and become better in a loving relationship. That's what love is to me. It's not the feeling or the lust. It is the decision to be kind, to be patient. It's a decision to spend the rest of your life with this person, love them even in their worst state, and make them achieve their goals. Now that's love for me.
We
That's
have
what
some
love is.
comments coming.
All right. Now, just to
From
give.
Balogu Matthew. It
All right. All
says
right.
inspiring conversation. It says here, inspiring conversation. Thank you, Andrew Peter. Thank you also for watching. We appreciate all the comments.
Thank you
As soon
very
as they
much.
come in, we will respond to them.
All right.
You can, of course, send in your comments and we'll look to them as soon as possible. Go ahead. Go ahead,
All
Andrew.
right. I just wanted to add a little something. When you read books, you get informed, right? Reading brings about information. But this book, Finding Love and Purpose, is not just about information. The principles will inform you on what to do. The principles will educate you. But there is a second part to this book that is a story. Now, that story will take that information and allow it to become transformation. When you go through the story of that book, Finding Love and Purpose, when you go through the part two of the book, which is a story, an inspiring story of a lady in Africa, Soweto, and a man that came from America. They met together in the local country of in the local parts of South Africa, and they were able to find love in a very creative and exciting way. When you read that book, one of the things you will pick out from that story is how your first date should go when you are looking at a man or a woman to bring into your life. There is something called first date. It may not actually be a date where both of you sit across the table and talk, but there's always a first time that both parties will agree, okay, let's go out, let's see, let's talk. So if you read that story, you will have an understanding of, okay, this is how my first date with a guy should go like. This is how my first date with a woman should go like. Some people want to have a date and they are all blown away with the exciting things that they see with their eyes. For instance, man, you can imagine a girl, looking at a man across the table and he's just looking at his lips. How does that help you to make the right decision of whom to love? So, first date is like a social interview. When you read the story, you will see how the lady, Usungo Mbala, was able to navigate her first date, making it look like a research, making it look like, okay, I want to know you. I'm interested to know you. And when you know a man or a woman in a certain level, you have known them enough to spend the rest of your life with them. But if you don't have that information about these persons or this personality you want to spend the rest of your life with, you are not sure of what tomorrow holds. You need some level of assurance before you go into marriage with the person. So that's what the story
So
part of
this
this book
your
will do.
this your fifth principle of selling yourself on the first date. I have some
Yes,
queries
that's it.
about that. I have some queries about that because most people are attracted by what they see, and you can't ignore that first attraction, that first initial reaction. You can't uh, okay, so a first impression is one that cannot be ignored, so first impressions are important. Chemistry, that spark, that butterfly stage, it's
Yeah.
memorable, it's important. You're saying it's not part of the decision. Is that what you're saying, Andrew Peter?
All right. These things are not a case of very tight, you must do it this way. It's not looking like a very tight template. But the essence of what I'm saying is when you go out on your first date, of course, there'll be excitement. I love this guy, the way he's looking. I love this lady. Oh, look at her shape. I love the way she talks. I love the way she this. I love the way she that. But the reality is that when you start making long-term plans based on a momentary feeling, it becomes a problem. Because you see a guy and all you see is all the good side, all the beautiful sides of a lady is what you see. But hey, that's not, that's sweeping you off your feet. And I said somewhere in the book, I said, before you allow a guy sweep you off your feet, be knowledgeable enough to know, okay, if this guy takes me off my feet, how long can he carry me? Very important.
Mhm.
Because ladies, young guys, they get bamboozled by that early feelings. It's a good thing to feel attracted, that chemistry, it's exciting. But do yourself a favor by knowing this guy or this lady to some level. The first date is not enough to know the guy, but put the relationship, it is the best time. When you want to, when a match is lit, when you lit a match, it's so easy to blow it off. But when you take that match that you have lit and then you turn on the gas, you blow the place up. So that gas here looks like the feelings and the chemistry. It's good that you feel something for someone, but please take out some time to ask some vital questions in your first date because your first date is actually allowing you to sell yourself to the guy or the guy sell himself to the lady. When there is an agreement in some basic areas, then you can proceed forward. Because if you make major decisions on your first meeting, that may become too hard on you to pull out when you know this person is not for you. So on your first date, feel lovey, love the person, be excited, enjoy the moment, but please don't go to the length of which you are now hand tied to make a decision to bow out. That's just what I was trying to say.
I'm going to jump forward now into the book, and we're going to go to 14, Facing Your Fear. Now, fear of finding purpose, fear of eventually finding love, or fear of not finding purpose or not finding love. When you say fear, what do you mean here?
I mean, the fear of taking the bull by the horn. You know, for instance, in the story there, in that particular story, because that number 14 is the last part of that story. So we see a case where we have seen it over time when a lady sees what a man carries and say, I want to spend the rest of my life with this man. Or vice versa, a man sees what this lady has to offer, what this lady carries, her beautiful ideology, her awesome psychology, and he wants to spend the rest of his life with this woman. But there are circumstances, there are limitations that is trying to pull you away from making that decision. Now you have to plug in and face your fears. Because after doing all the work out there of knowing the person, love is still something that is risky. So when you have this inner joy, inner peace, you've asked the right questions, you understood the person's destination, where he's going to, you've known the person's purpose. It's time for you to jump in, even though your friends may be telling you, this guy does not have this lady does not have this. Nobody gets it 100%. If I was looking for 100%, I would still not be married because nobody gets 100%. That's why a book says the beautiful ones are not yet born. So, but if you are able to ask the major questions and you know the person's purpose, you see yourself fitting well in that purpose, now it's time for you to face your fears. What will go wrong? What if this? What if that? There are so many what ifs when it comes to love. But when you have based your love on the principles of finding purpose and living out your perfect dream, and then you find somebody that supports it, of course, there will be stuff going on in your mind. What if this goes wrong? What if this happens? What if my parents are not in support? What if this? That's what happened. So when you decide to face your fears, you will realize that the best part of your life is at the other side of your fear. So when you know your purpose and you've seen the person that both of you can walk together in life, that is the right time to jump in. Because if you are waiting for all the fears to go down, you may not come to the point of making that decision. Ask those that are married, they usually have this fear. What if, am I sure? Am I sure? I ask myself those questions too. Am I sure this is the right person? Am I sure this is the perfect will of God for me? Am I sure this person will help me? Am I sure this won't end in a disaster? But after everything, I decided it's time for me to plug in, and of which I did. And many years after, I'm still happy I'm in the marriage, and together we are making progress in our purpose for myself and for my wife. She has even gone ahead to do a music video as a gospel artist. So we are all pushing and making sure we keep getting better in our purpose, because nothing will make you happier than loving somebody that supports your dream. Nothing.
Oh, honestly, you're making a lot of people say "oh" where they are right now. There are a lot of oohs and ahs all over. But
And I appreciate them.
I have to tell everyone where we can find the book. Of course, the book is available on Amazon. Apologies for the language barrier here. I don't know why my page is in another language on Amazon this evening. I'll figure it out, but I do see that it is on sale here and available on Kindle Unlimited. But then it's also available on seller.co. Let me share this tab as well. Seller.co. That's SELAR.co. Just search in the search bar, Finding Love and Purpose, Andrew Peter Milestone. It's right there. It's 3,000 naira, and you can always pick up a copy. I have to say a big thank you to you for coming to talk to us today, Andrew Peter Milestone. Now, any final comments as quickly as possible, just in 60 seconds?
All right, 60 seconds. I want to encourage everyone to get this book because I believe that this book is a solution to many problems in your life. This book will help you to actually find love and find purpose and give you a good platform for you to be your very self to the best. So you can get this book on Amazon and you can get this book on seller.co. If you're in Nigeria, you may find it easy to get the book on seller. And if you can get the book on seller and I get your email, I will also send you a gift for free of a book titled Why Wait to Blow. So if you get the book between now and Sunday, I am going to throw in a free bonus for you there titled Why Wait to Blow. These two books, read them and tell me what happened to your life afterwards. It's going to be a testimony. Thank you
All
for having me.
right. Oh, you are so welcome. For those who are just tuning in, this is the On Air Book Club, and today our guest is Andrew Peter Milestone, the author of Finding Love and Purpose, and he's put together this book for young people. He is a writer, filmmaker, and an inspirational speaker. He's also written quite a few movies and web content for multinationals. He's convener of Mind-Shifters, a dynamic movement focused on helping people find their purpose and live a great life. From schools to churches and organizations, the Mind-Shifters team goes about from city to city, impacting lives. Thank you so much, Andrew Peter.
Yeah, thank you very much. And everyone that joined in, thank you very much.
All right, I will be trying to connect with you on LinkedIn later on, and maybe I'll get your details as well and tag you with this post and the link later on. I'll see you later, Andrew. All right, then. So, yeah, that's our book for today on the On Air Book Club. And there's quite a lot to glean from the pages of this particular piece. And I think it's a special one. I hope you've been encouraged to at least pick up a book today. Maybe replace the remote control on your center table with a book. Especially if you have young people around you, they will pick it up. They will be interested in it. Just try it out. keep the remote controls away and put the books on the table for once and just wait to see what happens. Before we go, I'm just going to encourage you to try something out. So I actually have come across an amazing website. It's called adcreative.ai. Now, if you haven't heard of artificial intelligence by now, which planet are you on? Artificial intelligence is taking over and it's helping, especially with our ad creatives. Now, a lot of us are trying to create adverts for our products and services online, talking about for Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and the like. And we're always looking for people to make these designs for us. Now, there are some websites where you can go and design it yourself, and they're great. But because of the time crunch, AI has come to the rescue. Now, adcreative.ai generates these ads for you. All you have to do is input the content, that's the wordings that you want to go into the ad, put in your color and maybe a picture or something like that. You don't even have to put in a picture. You can put in whatever you want and then click send, and it will generate multiple ads for you. It can generate ads you can send out weekly, daily, monthly. It'll generate everything for you automatically. I'm telling you, this is extremely efficient. It's a solution that every business owner should have. So scan the QR code on your screen right now. It'll redirect you to a website where you can take advantage of this opportunity. Thanks again for joining us. Until next time, make sure you pick up a book. Bye.